All right, so people, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back. Really appreciate you guys being here again. Happy Tuesday to each and everyone. Blessed morning to everybody. Hope you guys having a wonderful day as the fixtures continue today. I know like Coventry played today, Oxford United played today. So the Reggae Boys players are on display today. Actually, Charlton Athletic played today. I think there's like 5 teams who will play, later today that Reggae Boys players will feature for as well. But over the last couple of days, since the newly interim head coach got appointed, a lot of backlash, a lot of belt buckler swing. People are giving their opinion. People talking about, the appointment of, Rudolph Speid. It's not the right move, but I want to move away a little from that as well. Going to touch on, quite a few stuff that Rudolph Speid, talk about recently, and you have to go back in the archive. You understand? You have to go back in the archive of years ago. Not 10, but it's like 4 or 5 years ago when he was doing, his rounds, on YouTube and stuff like that, talking to different YouTube pundits way back. So I'm going to bring up back some stuff in the archive, and I'm going to give him, some praise. Because look, it's not just talking negative stuff, on Rural Speed. Because as much as, you can come to agreement, many of us can say, hey, the coaches, you understand, the coaches that aim and in technical team, would have recommend to the board, and, they would have hired, so many coaches in the past, and the failing continue miserable on numerous occasions. You understand? More failing than success. Quite a few success, it's not a lot. Even one you're talking about, I don't think he hired Lauren Dannasa, he hired Vin Blame, but I don't really want to go there. But I'm just saying, man, I'm going to bring up some Rudolph Speid clippings as well, and Usain Bolt finally speaking out and how he felt after the game. You understand how he felt also by hearing the news of players partying after the game and stuff like that. So when you have a legend like Bolt, can come out and speak and stuff that, listen, this is not the right and proper way, then me not really want to hear anything. Players need to take accountability for their action on and off the pitch as well. So look, the first one I want to go with. The first one. So it was recently that, Mr. Speid did an interview where he talk about so many different stuff. But I want to go back in that interview that he did with Arville Higgins and Zidane Matthews, where I think it was in the first 10 minutes of the show. The first 10 minutes of the show, where he was talking about some stuff about the overseas players and, and coaches and stuff like that. But he mentioned something about players who, like, they made a mistake of they continue to pick, players that, unfit, players that are coming off dangerous injury like ACL, knee injury and stuff like that. So this is Rudolph Speid talking on this matter.
So, yeah, I think we make a lot of mistakes, like players from overseas, them have, bad injuries, ACL, just recovering. And those are not easy injuries to recover from. Some of those injuries are career threatening. But we still, they're not fully back fit yet, but them have the name, and we call them, and them can't do certain things because them body don't allow them to do. And I think we suffer from some of that.
All right. So, Warner Brown is coming off an injury. Lati, is coming off a very, very nasty knee injury as well. I remember if it was the October window or the September window, but Lati was out injured, didn't play any minutes on the pitch. He got picked. Warner Brown got picked for the November window. Yes, it would have been, a regular member when he was fit, a few months back, for Steve McLaren, Bobby Reed, also, coming off a tweak hamstring injury. Players are not playing the minutes. And I'm saying that I'm glad the fact that Ruda Speid came out and actually said they make some mistake, including stuff like that, by picking players that are not fully fit. And one, it's very, very, let me say this as one, the Warner Brown selection. The Warner Brown selection, it's very blatant that there's no way Warner Brown should have been in the team after just coming back from injury, not in the form that he once was in when he was playing for the Junglers. Yeah, while you have a player like Trevante Sqaud, who is hot, ready, fit, is running through brick wall for his team in Israel. He's playing on top of his game. He's a leading goal scorer for his club team. All those stats is on Trevante Sqaud's side, but you pick a player like Warner Brown. Look, these are the stuff going forward with the national team, Ruda Speid or without Ruda Speid. These are the stuff that coaches, the selection panel, the coaching staff need to fix these things going forward. Because you're looking at it, Joel Latibody here, not getting the minutes, yet to play that minutes on the pitch, but he's getting picked for the national team. These things must stop. These things must stop. Give another player that who is getting the minutes on the pitch. Yeah? Especially he's coming off a knee injury. And also, different type of players, have different type of injuries. Yeah? Understand, not every player that, just recover from an injury is going to get into the team. Some player, they're going to get into the team because they are that important. But for the ones them that coming off of crucial injuries and not getting the minutes to exercise that injury on the pitch, to get used to have been on the pitch, we don't need, it doesn't matter who he is. Even so, heard the coach would have talked about, possibility of a Leon Bailey. When Leon Bailey is going through his own little individual issues with his injuries, yeah? Picked up 2 injuries already, for AS Roma. Why would you even try to mention Leon Chippy Bailey? With I see Casey Palmer, I see even the September window, we see, Mikel Antonio not having a club. We need to let go this type of standard. It's not healthy enough for the team. Moving forward, we should make sure that priority, we picking players that are fully fit and ready to go. Not player, just coming off an injury and not getting the minutes. How is that going to add up? That's not going to add up. You understand? We need players that are ready to go. And another thing, I want to comment, Ruda Speid on as well. I went into the archive, listening back some clips of past interviews of Speid, different players, different people from the coaching staff in previous. Go back in the archive, listen to some interviews and even Tapper as well. Just doing some homework, listening back to, some clips, listening back to some issues that past coach, someone in the administration is talking about whatever is happening on and off the pitch. But I found this one, very strange. Ruda Speid talking about how he want to, move the coaching project, the coaching education, project forward so we can have more a licensed coach in Jamaica and also get the females on the board. You understand? Want to talk about that, but this is what Speid said. I have to commend him for that as well. And he also talk about the Jamaican Women Premier League, how they want to start a professional Jamaican Women Premier League in 2025, and talking about the coaching education project that, I know Speid isn't the one that really start this process. It goes all the way back into, to the Spanner Davis time when coaches, not every coach back then did have the privilege to do the exam, as it was like a secret thing in Jamaica. Now me live to see and, growing up in the system, hearing coaches talking about, in the early 2000s and stuff like that, where, they don't have the privilege to get the coaching license and stuff like that. No, we're seeing it's more in the public where any man from half a corner coach in a corner league and stuff like that can hold, a CONCACAF A license coach. And it's very good because even, growing up in the grassroots, in different clubs, Premier League clubs, growing up in the system, playing football as well as a youth, not many coaches back then, at that time, getting coached by a coach that have, the highest certificate as a coach in the CONCACAF region. When you look all over in Europe, say nowadays, you have countries like Malta, they have like roughly close to around 50 coaches that hold the UEFA Pro license. When you're talking about, countries like Romania, they have like close to like around roughly 1,000 coaches that have the UEFA A license. The same thing goes for Croatia. You understand? I have coaches that hold the UEFA A license and the UEFA Pro license, up to 1,000 coaches in those countries, and those countries are not so bigger than Jamaica as well, especially Croatia. So looking at it, it has to start from somewhere, and this is Speid. Let me play the clip. This is Speid speaking on a forum, coaches decks 4 years ago, and the possibility of, reignite and get this thing structured and organized so coach can have the benefit of their career and moving forward. That's the country can better as well.
We're looking at is coaching education. We recognize that there's even 2,000 coaches in Jamaica right now that has never attended a coaching course, which is a big problem for us. The JFF has decided that coaching education is a must, so we're setting up our coaching school now, and the plan is by 2025, Jamaica will have their own pro license coaches here, and we think that is something that can send us up to at least to be ranked in the top 20 in the world, and that is what the things the coaching program will do. We have also decided to have elite youth competition. So at the parish level, we're going to play under 13 and 15. Then the professional clubs must play 17 and 20 to continue the education of the youths. Remember now, as we go about the professional club, we'll step it up to A license. You must have a B license to coach professional, then a A, then a pro. So that is a progression. So we know that in a couple of years' time, we'll have better coaches coaching the elite youth players, etc. So that is our number one driving Premier League. Then we look at the women's professional league. We're looking to have the women's professional league. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, man, I hear you now.
Okay, I'm not seeing it. We're looking to have the professional women's league. The women's league be professional by 2025. And then the player pathway, which is what you spoke about. You didn't use that word, but the player pathway, we have a clearly defined player pathway now. Just like how you have a defined.
Yeah, so you have to comment Ruda's Speid and that as well. So it's very good. It has to start from somewhere, because if you look, he would have emphasized on these stuff a lot. Like, look at the coaches that coaching, teams, in Central America. Even Ronaldo Ruida, during one of his build-up game in the November window, talking about the work that he would have helped to put in with the federation, moving the needle, that's Honduras, of at least five FIFA, upgrade stadium where it's licensed. It's passed all the fitness tests, that you can play any FIFA games, and, real good upgradement stadium to the highest level. And also, I would have seen even El Salvador, Nicaragua, these countries are making, the necessary means as well, to upgrade their coaching education and actually upgrade their football. So it's good, to see that at least he talk about getting the Women's League up and running in 2025. They did that as well just around a few months ago. I think it was in the start of the year or last year. It's still, aligned to the year that he talked, that he's going to get it done. And also the coaching education of get it forward. Not the founder of it, but someone that, to help structure it properly so coaches can have the benefit of getting the right and proper education. And also it can benefit the younger junior teams as well in the national program. And look, the more a licensed coach we can get coaching at the grassroots, it's better development for the youths as well. If you go in Europe, I say like a country like Germany, you go into some bush league, some corner league, a coach around there coach some bush league, yeah? Some league where probably 10th tier in a Germany, 12th tier, the coach probably hold a UEFA B license, and that's very good at that level. So, it's good for the development of the country. So I'm glad to see that Speid have done that and he achieved something, but we still don't want to go over where, we're criticizing him and the iron of the coach. We want to stick to the positive on this video. And also, since Rudolph Speid have, gotten appointed, as the committee and the committee board or the chairman of the technical committee, what you think about the coaching education and how he's talking about getting local coach proper education, so at least they can be on a Steve McLaren level at a few years from now. You understand? If we can manage to get that. But Usain Bolt did a video, I think it was Dottyberry, yeah, and Dottyberry channel, where he was asked a question about players, having fun after the game. I don't know if he realized that the players did have some fun before the game. I'm not going to single out any player.
No, just to wrap up, no, are you aware that you are now a meme?
Yeah.
Are you aware
Yeah, I saw somebody said it to me. It was a stressful day, I must say.
Have you gotten over that, like?
No, as a sportsman, it's hard to swallow that pill because I don't feel like they really gave it their all and they didn't leave everything out there on the field, all the players, so it really resonates in a bad way with me.
Yeah, no, what do you make of the people having an issue with them going to party afterwards, after the match?
Yeah, of course. I'm one of them too. Why would you? There's no way. That means they didn't care. It didn't affect you in any way that you miss a moment as the World Cup for a nation that actually going through it now. You know what it would have meant for the people to have something to cheer about and to be happy about. And then after that, no, it's like you don't care. So, and as I say, they could see it on the field, they didn't play it with their heart. And so it's just one of the, and as a sportsman, I said, it's really rough to watch.
So you're hopeful that, there's another chance for them to qualify?
Look, tell you the truth. If this was the easiest one and we make it slip away, we can't do the next heartbreak. To follow up on this, I'll watch, but we can't get deeply invested again.
But it's time for this to stop. Yeah, it's time for this stuff in the player pool of the national team. It's not a big, the gap is not wide. It's just a few selective of players, continue, to do things like these and getting younger players through the door. I don't think these stuffs are healthy, for younger players. Not saying that players cannot have fun, cannot have entertainment in around different space, but there's a time and place for everything. You understand? But I'm saying this. You hear it in Gold Cup. You hear it in the Nations League. You hear it in the World Cup qualifier. Locally, in Canada, in the US. You understand? You hear it as well. When are these stuff going to stop by the players? When the leaders of the player pool, are going to remove these stuff away, and start to hold player accountable for these things. The national team is not for vacation. The national team is not for vacation. I don't care less what you want to have, but you would have heard not Rudolph Speid, but you'd have heard Craig Butler, they're on the fix, talking about some madness about players going through this, players lonely, players locked up in their room, player train every day. This is your profession. This is your profession. If you have to wake up 6 a.m. every morning and drive an hour or two to go to training, then take the next hour or two to prepare and to get your body, get the proper meal in your stomach, and nice little breakfast, at the training facility, and then you can go on, to have your training session on the ground, and have your shower, have back a next little prep meal, doing a little recovery, at the training ground, and then return back home and then go sleep. If that's your profession, if that's what you sign up for, if that was you pay the big bucks for, that's exactly what you have to do. But it's just time with this thing need to stop around the federation. Yeah? And the federation, they are not even, I don't even want to beat them because I'm giving them credit, but it's starting from the top. If the top of the pile, the leadership is good, then it will trickle down to the lowest term in the system. You understand? So players need to hold themselves accountable for these things. It's not every time it's good to party, especially before a very crucial game that it can be a life-changing moment, and especially losing in the emphatic way of not getting the result. Yeah? Not getting the result, and then you went out and make it seem like everything is normal while the people are going through their little issue of what they witnessed in the national stadium. So if the big man can speak, why is it that people taking it like it's just a regular thing? Yeah, it's not a regular thing. These things are not good for the body. These things, so if you see for the longevity of your career, these things can take a toll if you continue to do these things in your career. You understand? So, bless upon yourself. Thanks for passing through. Really appreciate you guys being here again. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate it. Bless up. Ciao.